Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. I'm Peter Martin, Alan Ruff, Alison McConnell and Tammy McManus are here with me, and here's what's coming up on the show.
Steve Clarke believes there's no way Spain goalkeeper Unai Simon would have saved Scott McTominay's goal regardless of Jack Henry's position in the box.
There's no way in the world the goalkeeper was saving that, no matter where Jack Henry was.
John McGinn claims Scotland's chances of beating Spain were near impossible after VAR ruled out the away side's opening goal for an alleged offside. The hunt for the Rangers manager continues as fans tell PLZ Soccer who they want as the Ibrox club's 19th manager.
Someone hard, I think. I think Muscat's perfect for it.
Hibernian will pay tribute to their Scottish Cup winning captain David Gray at Easter Road this weekend at the club legend's testimonial against Manchester United.
Yeah, lots to talk about. International football definitely at the forefront of our mind. It was painful. It was anticipated by many. Spain winning by 2-0, but for long periods in that game, we just had that feeling, as we often do, being the followers of Scotland, that it was going to happen. We thought we were going to win, first of all, Ruffy, and we were denied a goal. That's the main talking point. What's your take on it?
My take on it is right from the very start, McTominay's cross into the box, I don't think he meant it to be a goal for a start. You know, he's put a great delivery into the box. The goalkeeper was getting nowhere near it. I don't know why Jack Henry came in and touched him, but he was off. For me, he was offside and he touched the goalkeeper, so he's interfering with play, so double counts for me. No goal.
Wow, I never thought we could start a show with me disagreeing with every point that you said, but then I realised we've been together 10 years and there's been many occasions when that's the case. So let's crack on. He's stated his case, Ali. Are you with him or against him?
No, against. I thought the hullabaloo around the goal was bizarre. I thought that there were two issues for it for me. One, no one in Spain appeals it at all. Not the goalkeeper doesn't look for an infringement. None of the Spanish players look for an infringement. The crowd goes very quiet, and I just think the confusion doesn't look good. First of all, it was offside for a foul, and then it was offside for offside and for interfering with play. But no, not for me. I think he's marginally offside when you go back and look at it, but I just think the optics of how they got to that decision don't look good.
Totally agree with Ruffy.
Yeah.
I thought he was offside. I think he's offside. It's clear as day, his foot's offside and he's in the sight line of the goalkeeper. I think Spain get away with it because I don't think the goalie was going to get it, but he's interfering, he bumps into him.
He actually, I don't know why he touches him, because it's going in the back of the net. There's no way the goalkeeper's done in. It's a goal. I don't see why he came in and wants to touch him. Briefly touches him, but he touches him. And the rules are, it's a foul.
The problem is, Peter, I think there was this confusion, as Alison said. I think he appeared to signal for a foul at first or an offside, and then reversed it. They went over it and reversed it to an offside. So that was confusion. Listen, you're all jumping about mental, we thought it was a goal. But then when you look at the cold light of day, if you take the Scotland hat off and he's offside and I think he's interfering with play, so I totally agree with Ruffy. I think he's a double whammy and they got the right decision in the end.
Okay, well, we may as well all offer our tuppence, but I think you two are talking nonsense. The one thing I would say is, and I think Ali makes a really pertinent point, and I think a lot of people, especially the pundits, were looking at that situation. One, I disagree with you, Ruffy. I think he did mean it. I don't think it was a cross. Secondary to that, I think the VAR alerts him to a clear and obvious error. And the clear and obvious error in their mind that they've alerted the referee to is a foul on the goalkeeper. So at that point, the referee is then being advised to look over there for a foul on the goalkeeper. All the commentary team and everybody else who can hear what UEFA have decided in their VAR is there's a foul on the goalkeeper. Now at that point, there's no foul on the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper hasn't even appealed for it. If you're telling me that's a foul on the goalkeeper, Ruffy, the game's a bogey. He didn't even touch him of any. Ruffy, if he's offside, hold on a second. If he's touched him, it's like Ali saying, "Can you move out the road till I go to the toilet?" I mean, it's not a push.
How many have we seen? How many things have we saw that a push in the back and somebody falls?
It's not a push.
It's not a push. He's touched him. He's interfered with him.
Well,
he's interfered.
Can I tell you?
He's saying he's offside.
And at this point, hold on a second. We're talking about the chronological order here, and the order is he's advised that it's a foul on the goalkeeper. Now, I don't think it's a foul on the goalkeeper. So many people have looked at it and said, if that's a foul on the goalkeeper now, there is no contact whatsoever in football. You can't touch anybody. You can't go like this. You can't hold a man off. You can't even go like that if you're in the box. Penalty. Because that's the consistency of what you're talking about. If you're talking about a situation where Andy Robertson's gone up for a ball and the Spanish goalkeeper cements him, now that for me is a penalty to Scotland. So, I mean, it's just one of those ones where he's come across him like that. He hasn't pushed him. There's no direct push. There's no push, or in my mind, that takes the goalkeeper Simon so far out of his way. And at that point, you know what goalkeepers are like, Ali? Somebody's pushed me or touched me. No foul. Second part of it is when the referee goes over and says, well, I'm looking for a foul, all of a sudden, a couple of minutes later, we're now debating an offside. And it's not a clear and obvious error because he's not interfering with play time. There's no way he's getting it. And if you don't think...
It's clear and obvious. He's offside, Peter. Jack Henry's offside. He's offside, Peter.
Here's Steve Clark, the Scotland goalkeeper, the Scotland manager.
Well, at the time you think it's a goal. You know, when the referee gets told to look at it, they're probably going to chalk it off. They've made the call, so there's no point in going on and on about it. If you look at what they've called it, I think there was a little bit of confusion at the time whether it was offside or whether it was for a foul on the goalkeeper. I think if you put those two together, Jack Henry was marginally offside, and then I think when he steps towards the goalkeeper, they've interpreted that as Jack then becoming involved in the play. But I'll tell you now, there's no way in the world the goalkeeper was saving that, no matter where Jack Henry was.
So, there's Steve Clark's take on it. You say he's offside. Is he interfering with play in the shot that Scott McTominay has taken? There are times when someone takes a shot and there's a player in an offside position who is not interfering with play and the goal can stand. That's why I say it's a goal.
I totally agree with you, Peter, but he hasn't interfered with play because he's right in the eye line of the goalkeeper and he bumps into him, so the goalkeeper can't lift his arms. If you watch it, I'll slow it down again. When the ball goes by him, he bumps into him. He can't lift his arms. Now, I'm not saying he probably wouldn't have saved it because he's whipped it in with great pace. But if that's at the other end against us, we are squealing for offside and a foul.
I don't think anyone in Spain did shout for offside or for
Ali,
foul.
there was no movement from the goalkeeper. The goalkeepers are the most protected species in the land. He just looks and goes, we've lost a goal.
Everyone did. No one anticipated it being called back, and you make a really good point. If you think if that's a foul, the Andy Robertson one anywhere else on the pitch,
even John McGinn, who's taken out at the edge of the box.
That's why we've got VAR.
But
That's why VAR. If nobody else sees it on the park, that's why we've got them
VAR
up
is for
there.
a clear and obvious error.
So,
I think that.
so they're looking at the screens, all slowing it down and everything. Nobody on the park sees it getting slowed down. They're probably all watching the ball going in the net. They're not watching who's running offside or what Jack Henry's doing. That's why VAR should clear it up, and VAR got it right.
I don't think it was a foul.
VAR
Peter.
didn't get it right.
I think
VAR said there was a
one you want.
VAR
Pick one.
VAR said it was a foul on the goalkeeper. First of all, that's your clear and obvious error for the referee.
Right.
I don't think it was a foul. You think it was a
I think
foul?
he touched the goal. I think he touched the
think he said
goalkeeper.
Just out of curiosity, not with Ali, but what do you think he did? Show us the motion of what he did,
He put his hand across the goalkeeper.
and that's it.
Yeah,
Bumped into him.
touched him. He touched him.
Or just touched him,
Yeah, he just touched him.
Ruffy.
I never pushed him around. He
He's-
just touched him.
Ruffy.
I think you can.
If you're touching a goalkeeper now and it's a free kick,
You
the
do.
game's a bogey.
That's what it is. If a
Ruffy.
goalkeeper goes up to catch the ball and somebody
Listen,
goes in,
I
it's a
hate
foul.
goalies, right? I just don't like goalies.
I hate
right?
all of them.
I just don't like goalies, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, I see the Andy Robertson one. When he comes out, I hate that goalie's coming out and doing that. That should be for me. That should be a
That's
foul.
like taking someone
right?
out.
That's a penalty.
It's a cheap hit. You know the ball's bouncing. You can come out with your knees up and just clatter into somebody. I'll always maintain that should be a foul, right, against the goalie. But we can argue if it's a foul or not. What's indisputable is he's interfering with the goalkeeper because the ball flashes across. He's right in his eye line and he bumps into him. He's interfering with play. You can argue about the foul. Plus, I don't think there's any dispute he's offside. So I think they got it right in the end.
I think, see your point on VAR, that's what it's there for. Had that goal stood and gone unchecked last night, I don't think anyone in the aftermath of the game would have said you have to call it back and look at that, and VAR missed it. I think the game would have went on without anyone being happy.
Absolutely.
To check it.
Ali, the two issues here are quite simply the referee has been instructed by VAR and they've made an initial mistake of what they think the first clear and obvious error is, and then somehow they've managed to get to a secondary position to say he's offside and he's interfering with play. The ball's gone directly into net. The keeper hasn't even in any way complained about it. The players haven't complained about it. Everybody's back, ready to take centre. It tells you all you need to know about it. The fact that Ruffy's saying, oh, he touched him. My God, if that's the case now, I know players that would go up in a challenge with Ruffy and smash him.
It's a different era.
And it is a different era, but it's still there's still a situation.
What do strikers do when they go in the box and they fall down and they get a penalty? They say, oh, there was contact. And we all sit here and we go, not enough contact for you to fall down like that.
Well,
but they get a penalty.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Because
I think
there's contact. That word contact, you just use it. There's contact.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
If the goalie went down or anything, either.
nothing.
The goalie didn't react.
Nothing. He went like Ali. He went like that. I know.
He was never going to get. He was never going to get it.
But
whether he was going
by the way,
no.
you know this could this is one of these arguments that get gone, and then eventually what happens? Do you know what it's like? It's like that scene from Chewing the Fat, where eventually somebody just gets a ball and scales it over his head.
You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Ali.
Let me turn that round again. And what Tam said. Say it happened up the other end. What would you be saying? What would you be saying?
Ruffy.
You'd be going, oh, the VAR got that right.
You started off with saying that Scott McTominay, it was a cross. It was hit with pace and curve on it. It was a shot.
I think it was a shot. Ruffy, I've got to disagree with you with that. I think you've meant it. I think you meant it.
Fair dues to him.
It's a shot, and the guy who's in an offside position is not fundamentally interfering when he makes the move, and to say that it's a penalty, to say that it's a free kick with a touch, see if you come on this show in the next 16 weeks and talk about something with a touch like that.
Why is he attacking the ball then?
See if he's not
getting in the net. Why is he attacking that ball if it's a screamer into the back of the net?
But the ball's in the back of the net by the time he's moving forward.
He's just trying to get across.
Everybody's going across.
He's trying to get across the goalie.
Anyway, John McGinn reckons, unlike Ruffy, that it was one of those games that you just knew that it wasn't going to go the way of Scotland because the decisions all over the park. I thought the referee was poor. Here's what John McGinn made of it all. It's tough to win here, but in the circumstances, it was near enough impossible. Everyone watching that game from a Scotland point of view, it felt like we weren't going to get a decision. You need a perfect performance to win here, and it was never going to happen. We managed to get all the parts in there, but John went on to say, Tam and Ruffy don't know what they're talking about. That's exactly what I meant to add that bit in, Ali, but...
There was a foul on him in the first half. How's that not a foul? With the body checked him. Yeah.
I don't think there was enough contact in that one, though. I mean, you only actually belted him out from the next
round. I mean, that was a shocker of a decision.
Ruffy, that was just a fair tackle, wasn't it? John McGinn.
That's how you interpret it.
Yeah. What did you interpret? John McGinn faking it?
Just run into him.
It happens too much. This happens too often for me. I don't know if you saw it to get away for the game. I don't know if you saw the Suter one on I never saw it on Facebook. The one with Suter's running back with the ball and all of a sudden he falls down. I can't remember who it was against.
Yes, it was.
Why is he doing that?
Oh, it was the last week. It was St Mirren.
Yeah. What's that about? Players are at it. They're all at it. No, I'm just saying players now are making it even more difficult to make decisions if they're going to do things like that.
No, but make a decision, and if you think there's a clear and obvious error, then you haul it back.
Remember Jeff Hurst went through and he hit that shot and it bounced at him. He's at it. No, he ran away. That wasn't a goal. He ran away claiming for that, Ruffy. So he's at it. No, he's trying to gain an advantage.
I think John McGinn's point was right. I think some of the decisions last night
it was terrible. The referee was murder. You know.
The Andy Robertson one and the John McGinn one would be the two obvious examples.
Is there any doubt that the best team won? Can we confirm that the best team won the game?
Listen,
Spain were far better than us.
Absolutely, but can I tell you why I was so? I wasn't so impressed with Scotland, Ruffy, with the overall play, because I think John McGinn summed it up perfectly when he said, we need to continually go, we're improving all the time, but we need to go through this learning curve of we need to hold the ball, we need to keep possession better. He admitted it himself. We need to make sure that when we're up in a forward position, there's support and we can keep the ball. He was absolutely right. Sometimes if you get 3 passes and then you're giving the 4th away, I don't know about you, but the effort that Scotland players put in last night was unbelievable.
There's no doubt about it. We're a difficult team to beat. He's made us a difficult team to beat, but that's his trademark. He sets his stall out, to make us difficult. And big teams are finding it hard to break us down. That's the positive.
Yeah.
But again, we lose silly goals.
Yeah, but I'll go back to you. Wait a minute, Ruffy. We've won 5 games and this is the first one we've lost. The point here that he's managed to make us difficult to beat is one thing. But if I'm going, if I'm in a situation, and I'll give you the analogy of Muhammad Ali getting into the ring with George Foreman, and George Foreman has been knocking everybody out in the first round, you've got to work out a way to beat your opponent. You've not got to sit back and say Spain are a wonderfully gifted, technical group of footballers, so we'll just admire them. You've got to work out how to stop them playing. And if stopping them playing is a 5-4-1, what everybody... I thought his tactics were spot on. I thought, I'm quite happy to go in against a country of Spain's stature and say, make it tight, we'll pick our moment. How many teams have you seen nowadays, Tam, who are picking counter-attacks to beat teams?
I think you're right. We had to carry more of a threat. We didn't have a threat at the other end, so that just meant Spain could push up. Lyndon Dykes is not the quickest. The 2 centre-halves are playing the halfway line, and they just played in their half. We couldn't get out our half at times because we're not technically good enough, and we never had the pace in behind.
See if you look at Lyndon Dykes' Fitbit on the back of his...
Oh, he's
grafted.
Yeah.
That's all we've got. We've got Che Adams, Lyndon Dykes, and your job is do doggies across the park.
Difficult shift for him. I wasn't surprised Big Dykes get booked. He wasn't getting a touch of the ball. He was trying to make something happen. But I think Spain are a top team. And the first goal, Peter, we'll speak about the goal. It's a wonderful cross in from Navas.
Yeah.
I think Cal McGregor could maybe, if you're being a little bit, you could go and close him down a little bit. But he runs off the back of Jack Henry. And Morata, I was watching the game and he made that run all night.
Yeah.
He made that run all night in between the 2 centre-halves. Never got it, never got the ball, and he never stopped. He kept making that run.
And by the way, we were lucky after 1 minute.
We were lucky after a minute, but it was quality. It was a quality goal, quality header, and from a quality player who continually made the runs in between your centre-halves, and he got the one that mattered.
Yeah, I think overall, Ali, and I think we can be miffed and we can all give our opinion on it. I think Spain, as Tam mentioned, they are a good side. I don't think we deserve to win in the overall. I mean, possession's nothing. It doesn't matter if you've got all the possession in the world. You've got to create, and they did create chances, and they've got some good technical players. But I don't think we're a million miles away. I mean, remember, in the next couple of months, Ali, Ben Doak could be forcing his way into our side. He could be what their number 10 who come on was, the dribbler. Suddenly, Brian. So suddenly you've got a situation where we've got another string to our bow.
Yeah, I think what you would have to say is that over the course of the last 18 months or so, you've seen an enormous improvement from where Scotland were to where they are now. I think there's always going to be a gulf or a chasm when you look at the top European teams, which obviously Spain are, which England are. I think you're always going to struggle, but I think what Scotland have done, maybe not so much against England, but certainly last night, is make life very difficult for them and become a team that are difficult, I think, to break down. I think there's a resilience about them. I think if you are being critical, sometimes we do look a bit toothless up front, or there's not much coming in the final third. But I think you would have to be hugely satisfied with where Scotland have gone, where they are. You have to remember too, they still only need a point to get out and to qualify.
Yeah.
For a team who have spent the last 2 decades in international wildness, I think you've got to be pleased with it. You've got to be satisfied with it. I sat here on Monday and thought that last night's game you'd have been watching from behind the sofa. I thought it could have been 4 or 5-0. I think Scotland will be pleased with certain aspects of it. I thought the goal that didn't count, the goal that we've just debated, I thought it woke Spain up a bit. I thought
there was only one winner after that. I thought
straight after that,
your heads dropped.
The frighteners up them.
Yeah, and I thought you just sensed a different impetus too from Spain. There was a bit more urgency about them, a lot more. Well, there'd been pressure most of the night, but I just thought you could sense a goal was coming after it, and not for Scotland. But you'd have to be pleased with the way it's gone.
I think you've got to give the manager great credit, Ruffy. The only thing I would say is if we could unearth a striker from somewhere.
Pace.
You know what? Gareth Bales don't grow in trees, but can you imagine that side that he's got there with a Gareth Bale? We just don't have somebody like that. We don't have anybody up front.
You touched on it. We don't create many chances. I think we had one shot at goal last night in the 90 minutes. But if you've got a top striker, one shot can be enough. One shot for a top striker could win you a game.
Yeah.
And that's what we've not got. But you have to give them credit for the Norway one and the Spain game. You know, the rest of the ones, everybody's beaten everybody else. So we've got three ways to qualify. We've never ever been in this situations with 3 ways to qualify. You know, with it running out of games.
Look at the table, Tam. I mean, you know, destiny is still in our own hands, as well as on Sunday, a situation that Spain could do as a right turn.
Yeah, Spain are playing away to Norway, isn't it? That'll be a tough game for Spain. I read a stat last night. We've won 15 out of the last 19 competitive games. What a record that is for Steve Clarke. You know, without a real recognised quality striker. You know, he's doing the best he can with the players he's got, and I don't see any problem with us getting through. I think we'll either, as Ruffy says, we've got plenty of options to do it, but I think we'll beat Norway at home, and I think we'll beat Georgia away from home as well. I'd fancy us against both of them. I think we're better than both.
Yeah, I actually think Spain will do the turn at the weekend, Ruffy.
I don't.
No?
I think
No, because do you think Norway will get Haaland, will be touched in the box?
No.
Somebody will touch him with a thumb?
I just think Norway will beat them. I know Spain are a very, very good side. I don't think the side they were. I think away from home particularly has improved. You know, they struggle a wee bit, and I think Norway have got the tails up, and I think Norway will beat them. So it's up to us. I don't think we should be relying on anybody else. Tam's right. We're better than the other two teams have got to play, so I think it'll be a long haul.
Yeah. And I'll look at lists, and sometimes lists you like them, sometimes you don't. If I was looking at my top 10 goalies that I don't like, you're right up there now. By the way, I'm just telling you, you're climbing that chart.
You've always been babysitting all morning.
I always preferred Jim Leighton, did you?
Jim
Leighton, I always preferred Jim Leighton.
One of the funniest goalkeepers of all time.
One of the funniest guys with great personality as well.
Absolutely.
Beats Ruffy in every department.
Yeah. Jim, are you available for next Monday? just checking. No, you're. Listen, it's Haaland who scored a duck, and there were 2 good goals he scored. I mean, the one with the left foot was an absolute peach, and I don't think anybody expected Cyprus to do as a turn, did they?
No, I don't. I think it would have been a bonus had it happened. I don't think anyone was really looking at it and expecting it to happen. A bit of intrigue now about Sunday and what might happen. I just wonder if Norway were to win it and the group gets significantly tighter, then it becomes a different proposition too. You're just playing with a wee bit of pressure.
Yeah.
Again, as you maybe just feel the breath of them on your neck.
Well, they'd be on 15 points, Ali.
So yes, exactly.
You know, they'd be chasing us down. Spain are in 12.
Is Norway's next game? Was it
Norway's
Hampden?
at 10.
Is that?
Yeah. Well, no, it's Georgia for us.
It's Georgia for us, and then Norway's the last game.
Norway, but Ruffy, you and I have been in this movie
was in
before.
Georgia, yeah.
No, but forget Georgia. I mean, if it gets to a situation where we need to beat Norway in the last game, do you remember Italy? I mean, it's just nerve-wracking. I mean,
It is. It is. But the place was electric that night. The whole place was bouncing, and obviously it never went our way. But supporters have been with Scotland like that before, but I think it'll be done and dusted before then.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a draw in
A
Georgia.
modicum of optimism now,
I
eh?
don't think Georgia are good enough to beat us.
Yeah. Okay.
So settle for a nothing each.
Anything will do. But listen, you can give us your thoughts on it. We are arguing. Some of us agree, some of us disagree. I think you could argue it all over the weekend. The upshot of it all, and I think Tam actually nailed it. Nothing we can do about it. Can't change it. The result stands. Spain deserve to win. The referee had a howler in my mind. Do you agree with that? VAR, was there a clear and obvious error? Was the keeper getting to it? Is that relevant? Are we now in a situation where anybody who touches anybody, not a push, not a real push, not a kick, not a punch, anybody who just does that nowadays, is that a foul? Actually, do you want me to tell you something? Before I got there, I can't believe you didn't get down. Anyway, you can give us your thoughts on that. There's, as ever, lots of variety to our programming, which hopefully you are enjoying. Lots of people enjoying the Journo show, which is much the same as what Alison and I were doing with Ruffy there. It's just 4 people knocking lumps out of each other over the space of 60 minutes and arguing about things. I never thought the Journo show would transition from the Green Brigade, Israel, Palestine, and then segue into the Rangers manager. I mean, you don't get that on many sports shows, do you, Ali?
No, certainly, and I'm not entirely sure I fitted the qualification bill for that show and coming up and discussing at length the situation and what it means, the situation in the Middle East and what it means to us in our own parochial outlook and where we are. But yeah, hugely interesting. It's always a very quick hour.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well worth it watching it because the difficulty is, and we obviously have to talk about it, is quite simply, we were talking about it on the Journal show. I think it raises its ugly head again, Ruffy, because of the tragedy of lives lost on both sides and the act of terrorism, certainly on the part of Hamas, has put into the spotlight the Green Brigade at Celtic, who are calling on fans to once again show their support with a banner supporting Palestine and criticising Israel. If they do that, they'll leave themselves open again. The club leaves itself open to another fine from UEFA, and I think that's what we were trying to emphasise on the Journals programme in midweek, and it's something which is coming up very shortly as far as Champions League football is concerned. If they do it, our main concern was not to debate the rights and wrongs of Palestine, Israel, the legitimacy of showing your support and whether you should use sport as a platform to voice your displeasure or raise banners. The issue which we were trying to narrow it down to for a football show was quite simply, if you put the banner up and it in any way contravenes rules that are in place by UEFA, the club will get a fine. And if this consistently goes on and they persist with this airing of their views, either through a tifo or indeed singing certain songs or whatever, then the club's got a decision to make on this. So the decision is, are you going to allow people to use football as a platform with views that sometimes can be distasteful, sometimes can disagree with people? And in the case of Lil Abada, his teammates have already said to him, you should seek a move out of Celtic because of the stance of some supporters. And can I just counter that before people go nuts who don't listen to the whole argument, Ruffy? The views of the Green Brigade are not necessarily the views of the majority of Celtic fans. I'm not quantifying it. I'm just saying there are some fans who don't agree with their view. I don't have the figure, but there's certainly the debate is, if you break the rules, the club's getting fined.
Yeah, and that's why the club are active, and coming out and telling them not to protest the way you're telling them. They're telling that the club are a football club. They're not privy to, political decisions. If you're going to protest away from the park, go outside and do it, because you're right, the club is going to be fined. And they've been fined a lot, and I think we're not far away. If the Green Brigade continue to do what they're doing, I don't think we're far away from the board again saying, right, your section's shut. They've done it before. I can't remember why they shut it the last time. I can't remember what they were protesting about, but they banned the Green Brigade for, I don't know what it was, a couple of games or something like that. And if they continue to do it, the same thing will happen. So they're spoiling it for themselves as well.
And I think the Israel teammate of Lil Abada, Haziza, says you should have moved on from Celtic a long time ago. Go to another club immediately. God will bless you even more if you leave. And Haziza has previously vowed never to play football in Turkey after their president condemned Israel's attack on the Gaza Strip. It is a very, very difficult situation.
It's a sticky situation for Lil Abada.
Yes, but by the way, it's a situation where, yes, there's a real dilemma here with him, and of course, he's part of a country where a lot of people are feeling a lot of great pain because there's people who he will undoubtedly have known who have lost their lives to him.
Yeah, and it's the same. I think Neil Beaton came out the other day and spoke about it as well. It puts Abada, and he's a young boy. He's only 22, I think, Lil Abada, and obviously he's in another country, and his country's basically at war at the minute with another country. So it's a sticky situation for Lil Abada, and whether that eventually happens, where he thinks he's had enough, or I don't know what's going to happen with that situation, but he's certainly a young player with a lot of value for Celtic, and Celtic obviously have got his contract in the locker, and it'll come down to whether he wants to leave or not. I don't think it'll be a club decision. I think it'll be the player. If he thinks that the Celtic supporters are kind of turning against him a wee bit, then I think he'll leave.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, and it's coming up, Ali, because it's not as if we're talking about something that's a way off in the distance. All eyes will be on Celtic Football Club And, you know, regardless of, and again, I point out to all and sundry who can listen in the context of an argument, it will tarnish the name of the club. Whether there is legitimacy in people making statements, putting banners up, that's not my job here. It tarnishes the club's name, I think, worldwide at the moment.
Yeah, I think the issue, there's a number of issues with it. I don't think there's anything new in Celtic supporters being sympathetic to a Palestinian cause. I think, as I said on Wednesday, I think the timing of the banner and the wording of the banner would have hinted at support for Hamas, which is very different from a political sympathy with Palestine. For Lila Bada, who obviously plays for Israel and who's now feeling pressure from his own international teammates, I think it's a pretty intolerable position to be in. I think any words coming from the Celtic board about not having the Palestinian flags at the Champions League game will fall on deaf ears. I cannot for 1 second think that it will be taken on board. I think you'll see, I think the Green Brigade called on everyone in the stadium to carry a Palestinian flag if my memory serves me correct about the statement that came out on Monday. I cannot imagine that they'll deviate from that plan at all, and I think it does result in a fine for the club. I think you know that it's coming. I'm not sure what else the club can do. I think they've been seen to advocate and ask that fans fall into line. I think the feeling within the Celtic support is very strong in terms of a pro-Palestinian feeling. Where that leaves the club and where it leaves individuals such as Lila Bada is a different matter, and I think you only know if you can get an opportunity to speak to him and ask him how he felt and how his family that he might still be talking to home in Israel feel about the situation. I do think there's nothing new in how Celtic fans have reacted, but I would stress that I think you would have to focus a sympathy for Palestine wouldn't be a sympathy for Hamas. You can't conflate those two things.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, no one in this show has offered any definitive on figures on who supports what section or percentage of Celtic fans share this view. We're only making the observation on the fact of the issue, which is if they put the flag up, if they put any kind of banner up, they will get a fine. And it's as simple as that. And then the debate
argument from Celtic fans would be that we feel so strongly about it, and the last time, of course, then they raised the money to pay the fine, and then more, I think it is, we feel as though it's a moral decision rather than a legal call. So we're going to make a decision here to speak out because we feel as though that we have a moral duty to voice where we are politically. That's the problem that the Celtic board have.
and of course the board itself has left itself wide open, I think, to criticism, because you can't have your cake and eat it on certain issues, and that is a wider debate which, you know, people will look back at from previous situations which have reared their ugly head inside the stadium, where the board have been inactive in their ability to voice their displeasure or disassociate themselves with certain banners that have gone up. That's a wider debate and a longer argument, but right now we can only deal with the here and now, which is fast approaching when Celtic come up against Atletico Madrid. You can give us your view on it. Again, we value your opinion. Try and keep it sane, and we'll wait and see. As far as the football show is concerned, and on PLZ Soccer, we try to give you variety. We'll certainly give you opinion. Try to have a bit of banter as well, if it's humanly possible, and also interact with you. So we're really delighted that you hit the subscribe button on PLZ Soccer and join the football family. And as ever, we try and offer you variety. We've got the women's football show, we've got the journos show, we've got Straight Talk as well. And next week's guest is a man who played for St Mirren, Motherwell, Celtic and Borussia Dortmund, as well as with some distinction for Scotland as well at the World Cup. Paul Lambert came into the studio and reflected on what is a truly amazing career. We got Paul's thoughts on starting out and all the way through to winning the Champions League with Borussia Dortmund, and the pain of at that time having a family issue which forced both he and his wife and of course his kids back to Scotland, and saying goodbye to the Borussia Dortmund fans was particularly difficult.
Final whistle goes, and the whole stadium started to sing it. I thought, Jesus. Anyway, so I done a kind of lap on her. I get to the yellow wall, as younger people know it now, but I called it the Sue Tribune.
Yeah.
The next thing, I could see people crying in the Sue Tribune. I went, this is terrible. My heart was just going and going and going too heavy. And I thought, I can't stand here and watch this. And then banners went up saying, thanks Paul for everything, good luck in Glasgow. And then he started to sing Walk On.
It's a really good listen, a great insight into a man who won Man of the Match in the 1997 Champions League, Ruffy, for marking Zidane out of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a memory I'll live with him forever. You know, I don't think there was anybody get close to Zidane at any particular time. To do it in a stage like that was absolutely superb.
Yeah, do you think they get close to Zidane as well? You know, I just wondered
Zidane.
Yeah.
Just made up a phantom name there, didn't he?
Yeah, he just made up a guy who had walked past him.
Zidane.
Yeah. Zidane would have played, but he touched Zidane and he was sent off earlier. I won't let it go, will I?
Lambert was some player. I played against him when I was only a boy coming through at Hibs, and I played against the Celtic team. Him and Neil Lennon in the middle of the park. Tremendous, great player, and what a story by the way as well. Going from Motherwell to Dortmund and winning the Champions League. I mean, you could you know, be a Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
You know, from that type of move from Motherwell to go and trial with Dortmund and win the Champions League, it's incredible.
Strangely enough, Tam and Alison, you'll be well aware of this because, funnily enough, you came into the studio and didn't recognise you from all those years ago. We had to. Yeah.
Got a die in there.
Any chance you could stop there, because it won't just be a touch, it'll be a bang right in your left jaw. The point I was going to make, Ali, Tam just grazed over it, but realistically, here is a boy, you know, from Glasgow who etches himself in the history of St Mirren, being part of the 87 side winning the Scottish Cup, plays against Borussia Dortmund in a Motherwell side that split the Old Firm and finished second in the table. He then goes to Borussia Dortmund, wins the Champions League, comes back and plays in a Celtic side that stops 10 in a row, and goes all the way with Celtic to the UEFA Cup final, where they just are within a hair's breadth of trying to win the UEFA Cup against a very good Porto side. And he's also one of the last group of players to qualify and play in a World Cup for Scotland.
Yeah, he did an incredible career. Just a very celebrated career. I think he was quite an underrated player at times for Celtic in that Celtic side, because you had Henrik Larsson, you had Chris Sutton, Martin O'Neill's team, and then previously the team that stopped at 10. I think he did a very important job, just that breaking up the play all the time and then linking the attack, and sitting on a scorer of some very important goals for Celtic, certainly too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Foley, top corner, Park Kid.
Yep.
Off the post and in. Paul Lambert, yep.
Off the post and in?
Yes, half volley against Rangers, no firm game.
Yeah, I don't think it hit the post, Tam. I think it went right into the roof of the net. But anyway, we'll look.
I think it hit the...
No, it didn't. Absolutely not. No, listen, these two have lost the plot today, by the way.
I'll have a look. As soon as I come off of this show, I'm going to look at that goal.
And that's today's competition. Did it hit the post? Yes. Or did it hit the post? No. Anyway, can I just say something to you? Here's another competition. Who's the next Rangers manager? I say Clement. Somebody says Muscat. At this point, they're taking their time. Clement has got other people, other suitors closing in on him. Whether he decides that he's going to come to Scotland is up to him. He's certainly got a good pedigree of winning titles, Ruffy. So is Kevin Muscat. Where's your money?
Clement for me. Again, it'll depend on obviously the meetings they'll be having, all these interviews and whatever they're thrown in front of the board, what their way ahead is for Rangers, you know, and it depends how many ticks they tick and what Rangers are looking for. But I think, I know Muscat's done particularly well over in Australia and Japan, but I think this boy here has just sneaked ahead of him a wee bit in what he's done.
Yeah, you mean how many boxes they tick? Yeah.
What did I say?
How many ticks they tick? You're having an absolute mare today. Don't, baby. Any chance you
too many fish fingers.
I know. Listen, let's
frazzled's the word.
Let's listen to the most important people in this whole debate about who's going to be the Rangers managers. Here's some of the fans and their thoughts on it.
I hope Muscat, he's got a good history. It seems to have done well in Japan, and maybe he can attract some of the some of their players. There's somebody at the other end of the city that we'll no mention. Seemed to have done well with the players that he brought over.
I like both managers, so I'm very much 50-50. You know, the idea of both, you know, I've certainly got many positives.
Somebody hard. I think that's what they need. They need someone in the dressing room that's just, you know, I don't know. Hard, someone hard, I think. I think Muscat's perfect for it.
I mean, some good players there already. So, like, the main core of the team is still there. Well, big players have left, but I just think they need more structure and more composure and attacking football. And I think Clement will bring that.
Somebody hard. For me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be fair, by the way, I can understand where he's coming from, because you don't want any shenanigans from the dressing room. And by the way, there's been a few shenanigans going on in the dressing room, Ali. So I can understand where that Rangers fan's coming from. The other aspect of it is you cannot be clouded by anything other than a real need for someone who can come in, who's got organisational qualities, get the best out of the squad he's inherited short term.
Yeah, I think so. I think Rangers are in danger of the season going away from them already. 7 points behind. We're still in the infancy. I think whoever comes in needs to steady the ship very quickly and get to January and then see what resources they have. It's a fairly bloated squad at the minute. They spent a lot of money over the summer. I think that's going to be a headache, because you're going to maybe have to trim the squad. A squad that's now been handing out 3 and 4 year contracts over the summer. You're going to have to trim it a bit to be able to bring in some quality, but certainly you'd want a manager to come in and get a tune out of them, get a tune out of the players that are there just now, and that requires, I think, an organisation and almost going back to basics. What's the identity of the team? Can you make them hard to beat? And then what else have you got?
I mean, are we down to do you think we're down to the last two, or is there somebody coming out of left field here?
Yeah, listen, I've been pretty, you know, I've maintained my stance on Kevin Muscat on this show. I think he'll get the job. I think that Rangers, I think if he was available now, I think he'd be in the job. I think it's obviously complicated. I think he's still got, you know, business at Yokohama to, you know, the end of the season. I think their season maybe finishes in December, so I think they're maybe waiting for him. Clement, I think if he was going to get the job, I think that he'd been the job by now this week. So I think Muscat's probably a slight favourite, but I do think it's probably out the two of them now.
Yeah, okay. Who would you like to see as the new Rangers manager? And as many of us have said on this programme, is that the biggest decision that Rangers board has to make? Is investment not the key issue here to try and build a stronger Rangers financially for a manager to bring in players that he wants in the summer and beyond? Give us your view. Don't forget, you can post the messages in our comments section below, and if you hit the subscribe button, you will join the football family. And thank you to the many thousands who are not only subscribing but indeed consuming all our variety of unique video content. Not only the football show on a Monday and a Friday, where Neil Lennon and Lee McCulloch will return next week, just in time for some of the European football. But we've also got the women's football show, Saturday previews, and a great interview coming up on Saturday with Scott McDonald, who was speaking to Alison, and you can see that interview in full. Well worthy of listening to Scott, who I think, with a bit of luck, if it's anything like his playing days, he could be on his way to becoming a good coach as well. It's a really good and interesting insight into him.
Yeah, it was always a pleasure to talk to. I always found Scott McDonald quite opinionated. He always had something to say as a player, and yeah, same as a coach, as he makes his first tentative steps into a different world. And he's over in the UK just now because he's completing his A licence, so he was down speaking to Ange Postecoglou and Davy Moyes this week. Yeah,
I think it's only a matter of time, Ruffy, where eventually I'm retired, because everybody's turning into presenters and reporters. A lot. It's only a matter of time before I'm gone. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say so. They're all
they're
all sort of catching up in the technology. You know, we're seeing wanting wee bits and pieces here and there. You know, but got to tick the right boxes for you.
Well,
that's the phrase of the day, isn't it? Ticking boxes.
Absolutely. Ruffy has
the ticks,
Ruffy has finally been able to actually nail what we were all talking about. But anyway, apart from anything else, you're absolutely right, Ruffy. it's a good watch. There's lots of great content that you can enjoy on the programme. The journals as well is well worthy of watching. I think David Gray's testimonial at the weekend, something that the High Bees fans will be looking forward to. I hope he gets a good crowd along to that game against the Manchester United select as well, because I couldn't think of anybody more deserving than David.
Yeah, listen, I think that David Gray is a living legend at Hibs. He will never have to buy another drink again in Leith. Thankfully it wasn't me that scored that goal. I think I'd be dead by the time I was 45. But honestly, he's a legend, and I think they've been struggling to sell the tickets. I think they've priced them pretty good as well, tenner.
Yep.
So hopefully he gets a good turnout. It's difficult, I think it's coming up to the October break. Maybe a lot of families maybe away with their kids and stuff, so maybe that's affecting the crowd. But you're right, if anyone deserves a testimonial and, you know, a chance to say, you know, thank you, it's David Gray, because he scored probably the most important goal in Hibs history.
Yeah, over and above that, Ruffy, it's all too rare that players stay that long.
Certainly is, you know, and the good thing about his one, I think the modern day player, and now obviously they're all getting good wages, a large chunk of his money is going to charity, which I think is a good thing. You know, I think well thought out that, you know, because obviously there's a lot of deserving causes in the area of Edinburgh. So yeah, I hope they do get a big crowd, you know, that I think it's important if a player's going to stay that long at a club that at the end of the day the support turn out.
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, there's usually these live look-in-a-thons, you know, where pundits and players and everything, you know, they'll watch a game and they'll talk about it. There's a whole thing on YouTube these days. So I thought it might be an idea to look at Lambert's shot and see if it hits the post, Tam. Here we go, there's the shot. And it
did.
Do you think it did? No, I don't think so. I don't think
These are at it, by the way.
By the way, I'm just looking at it right now. Does that hit the post? It looks as if it goes in. Ruffy will give us the definitive on this. I say no. The ball comes out, Lambert hits it, and it goes
off the post.
Hold on, we'll see. Is it there? It is the perfect angle.
Off the post and in.
It does go off the post.
Right, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
I have to say there's a player in an offside position.
Yeah. Anyway, so by the way, can I just say something? I think we have to apologise to him. Yeah, absolutely. And a big thank you to one of our former digital journalists who pointed that out on that situation. Anyway, good luck to David Gray. I think there's a lot of players that will enjoy. No, she leaves. Anyway, good luck to David Gray on his testimonial weekend. I hope it's a great game and a big crowd. Ange Postecoglou has won Manager of the Month again. And I think I don't know legally the implications of it, Tam, but I think it's only a matter of time before Ange Postecoglou becomes the Prime Minister of Great Britain.
Yeah, he's flying down there. He can do no wrong in the Spurs fans' eyes. I think there was a few eyebrows raised, same when he came to Celtic. You know, Ange, there's a lot of disrespect down south, I think, towards winning a one-team league, as they see it up here, and winning everything. But he's went down there. It's the same style of football. You know, they're on the front foot, the press teams, and he's carried a little bit of luck along the way. You know, a couple of wee decisions here and there have went his way, but listen, the top of the league, and no Spurs fan would have envisaged that, you know, when he first came in. You know, they'd have thought we'd be lucky to make the top 8, top 10, and here they are, the top of the league.
And well worthy of it. I mean, the second month in a row, he is well worthy of it, Ruffy, because unbeaten in the Premier League with 6 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah, and I think Tam was telling us he's got a couple of easy games coming up, you know, so the other teams could be cutting each other up. So we'll have to wait and see. But
can he win the league?
No. No. I think he wants top 4.
Yeah.
I think getting into Europe, they've seen what Newcastle have done, and I think with the support that they've got, they could do likewise, and it's a fantastic stadium. So clubs like that deserve to be at the top.
I can't wait to see what he does in the January transfer window.
Well, he should get, you know, you never get any time to spend the Kane money, obviously, so he should get a good...
Hatate and Kyogo, I think, would look be decent signings for him.
Yeah, well, don't forget Tam's still on Twitter, doesn't answer anything, just runs away after he makes a controversial comment. Others, like myself, hang about until we're barred, but he runs away. Apart from anything else, yeah, good luck to him. Let's see. Do you think Tottenham can win the league? How much money will they get to spend in that window? But certainly at the moment, the only one thing I would say, Tam, it's a bit here and scare him at the back. I mean, honestly, if you watch Tottenham, you have to have your heart in your mouth.
Yeah, they are the way they play. That's the way Celtic played as well, Peter, in Europe. You know, he wants to build from the back. You know, they're taking risks. They're using the goalkeeper a lot. You know, they're creating overloads in that box and in their own box, and it's just the way he plays. And sometimes they'll give goals away. But if you're a manager and the players accept that, you know, and you don't slaughter them if they give a goal away, then they've got free rein to keep doing it.
Ruffy, I know you're the only one probably, Tam possibly as well experienced it, but you're probably the only one who understands what it must have felt like for Eden Hazard, the ex-Chelsea and Real Madrid midfielder who's decided to retire at the age of 32. He's obviously won a fair few things, struggled with a bit of injury and played just 76 games in 4 seasons at Real Madrid. He's decided to hang the boots up, 32, probably, and you might be able to tell us how this feels, probably Hazard, you know, went to the cash line, had a wee look at the account, and it said to him, you know, you can only draw 9 million out today. What a dilemma, eh?
It's a modern day superstar, isn't it? You know, that you want to be at the top, you know, and if he's picking up injuries and he's missing games, and, you know, he's going to say to himself, well, why am I putting myself through this? Just enjoy is it 9 million?
Eh?
Is it 9 million he's got?
That's just for one. That's just one account, Ruffy. I mean, honestly, 32 years of age, Tam.
Listen,
he was a great player at one point, wasn't
at Chelsea. Brilliant. Probably one of, you know, the best players in the world at Chelsea. Fantastic. Went to Real Madrid and struggled with injuries, and he looked overweight, looked unfit, and he's probably just went over to Real Madrid and he's now got a cigar out.
Yeah,
counting his money.
Absolutely brilliant. Good luck to him. I'm going to finish with something that we mentioned, I think, in last week's show, but I want to highlight it again because of the lovely tribute. Of course, for those who maybe are of a certain age who don't know about Frank McDougall, who sadly passed away. Frank McDougall was a brilliant striker for St Mirren and Aberdeen, but injury curtailed his career at a time when really, if he had been fit and avoiding injuries, I reckon if you sit and talk to Sir Alex Ferguson, Ruffy, he'll have Frank McDougall in his top 20 strikers of all time. I would have said top 10. I might be right, I might be wrong, but what a player.
Yeah, he certainly was. For me, he was Joe Harper Mark II. You know, same style, same, you know, not athletically built, but you know, he had that instinct of being in the right place at the right time inside the box. And you're right, Alex Ferguson loved him to bits, you know, and anytime you speak to Alec about him, I think if he'd looked after himself, if Alec could have taken him to Man United, he probably would have. You know, but he obviously didn't have that hunger that a lot of footballers had.
Well, I thought he was a special player, and it was lovely to hear the tribute from one of his teammates, Alex McLeish, this week.
He scored 4 goals against Celtic in one game. And I came in on Monday and I was pulling up my socks. And I stopped when I pulled one of them up, and I said to him, Frank, that was incredible finishing at the weekend. And he says, don't call me Frank, just call me the King.
and that is that's dressing room humour. Brilliant.
I think he actually went over to Brazil and opened a pub.
He did, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
There's something in the back of my mind. I don't know how that happened.
He's one of those players I'd love to have interviewed. But I was speaking to Joe Miller the other day there, and he said to me, you know, he was an absolute diamond of a guy. You know, he was just so funny, but a brilliant player. And I think he went for a trial, and Joe said, I knew him at Aberdeen, but he went for a trial at Celtic because obviously he was coming back from the injury. And he said it was 1988, and he said, and he just broke down, and he knew that was him finishing. What a player.
He scored 4 goals against Celtic. There's not many people who score 4 goals against Celtic.
And a hat-trick against Rangers in the same week.
Well, I mean, that's just phenomenal. That'll never be repeated, I don't think, in Scottish football.
What was the Golden Boot he won? He won a Golden Boot, didn't he? For something.
He well goals. Oh, he was just.
Yeah, but I don't know what Golden Boot it was, whether it was a European or whatever
Scottish.
it was. But that story I told you about with Alex Ferguson saying he used to chap the door every Monday, and Alex Ferguson would go and get his cup of tea, and sure enough, about 10 to 10 the door, and if Frank went in, he would say, it was 1 week, he would say, he says, I'm the best striker you've got, you know, we've got pick me. He said there was one day the door went and Frank came in and he said, what is it, Frank? He says, you can't keep picking a couple of players in that team, the whole was. his teammates. You need to get him out. That's what kind of guy he was.
I like that type of humour. But just before we go to finish, Ruffy, was at your old boss's
Yes,
auction. It was incredible at McTears. We covered it. We covered the build-up, you know, and the strips and all the memorabilia in the Bertiel collection. It was an unbelievable day.
Yeah, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of memorabilia there. You know, obviously the history of, you know, what he'd done in the game. You know, and I know he collected quite a lot. So.
The Dukla Prague top. I mean, there was bids coming in from everywhere. France, Italy, you name it. I mean, the Dukla Prague top
was the top. Is that the top one?
It was, well, the semi-final top, I think, was an absolute belter. The final top, Inter Milan. Then there was Nantes. Then there was Dukla Prague, which I just thought. And the other one that I thought I would love to have had enough money to get it on the day was Billy Bremner's from the 1970 European Cup semi-final. It was well past 11, 12 grand by the time I was looking at it. It was phenomenal. Eh?
What did the
Didn't the side of the couch just 12 grand for you, Peter?
The Dukla Prague, well, is that counting dinners? I don't want to. I think it was way up at that as well, and it looked in right good condition. You know, it was fantastic. What a day! Absolutely magnificent. Seen a few faces there, all with a few shekels. But lots of memorabilia that people would love to get their hands on. Anyway, what a collection. What a collection here today. We started off fighting. It was absolutely magnificent. I thought there was going to be maybe a couple of punches thrown here. It was looking physical at one point.
That was just Ali.
And, well, eventually, the good thing about it is when you get an opinion in here, right in the first 5 minutes you want to go back, Ali just grazes across the shoulder of Ruffy, and apparently we've got to go to VAR on that one to see if there's been any kind of breach of HR in the company. So there you are. That's the way the world's going with Alan Ruff in the VAR station. Thank you very much to Alan. Thank you very much to Alison McConnell and to Tam McManus. And from myself, Peter Martin, don't forget to catch Alison's one-to-one with Scott McDonald. We'll release that tomorrow. And there's lots more coming your way next week, including that great Straight Talk one-to-one with Paul Lambert. And there's other great features I'm sure you're going to enjoy next week. Lots coming up on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button and we'll see you again next week.